on the geographical area that a council sits in.
I rise briefly to speak on this and to give general support to the thrust of the amendments we're debating, not only on the grounds that have been advanced by other noble lords, but also because I think it would tend to mitigate something I regard as a positive evil, and that is it has become possible in recent years for major developers proposing major projects to offer to local planning authorities to fund the salary of a planning officer to help deal with their particular case. When I had responsibility in a London borough for planning policy, I resisted accepting that sort of offer, but perhaps we could afford to do so, because I think it strikes to some extent at the heart of public confidence in the planning system. Public confidence in the planning system is always a little fragile. Noble lords who've been involved in it in the past will know that there are always people who suspect that there's been a fix, that something corrupt is going on. That in my experience, is not the case. But to allow a developer to fund a planning officer, I think only exaggerates that perception and does damage, as I say, to public confidence in the planning system. So what is the way out of it? And the way out of it has to be, not least in the context of devolution, to allow the charges to cover the costs. And it's also, it seems to me, an appropriate thing if we want to empower people, local authorities, elected officials, locally. Now, it is open to the possibility of abuse, as the noble Baroness Lady Thornhill has said, and it could be the case that a local authority sought, in fact, to deter applications by setting punitively high fees. But the amendment in the name of my noble friend Lord Young of Cookham broadly addresses that possibility of abuse, and it might need a little refinement, but nonetheless the principle, it seems to me, is clear and acceptable. So I would encourage support for this amendment, because I do regard the evil that I mentioned as being one that we are not taking sufficient notice of, and it does harm to the planning system.